Hello, Internet. It is Adam Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. 2022 is here, everyone. And you know what that means. Brand new year, brand new movies. Well, that's kind of not true because a good portion of movies coming out this year were never meant to come out this year at all. Anyway, so first movie I'm going to be talking about for the new year, it's the 355. Yay! So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's just get this over with. Pros. Well, this is it's both a pro and con, but I'm going to talk about the pro side of, of this. So, our cast here, our five leading ladies here. We got, see, Jessica Chastain, Penelope Cruz, Fawn Bing Bing Beep. Oh, God. I don't know how to say her name. Diane Kruger and Lupita Nyong'o. Oh, plus Sebastian Stan. He's in there too, but he's not a main character. These five are. And all these ladies here, they're all recognizable. Like, they've been in some notable wars, particularly Lupita Nyong'o. I mean, she was in Black Panther. And let's see, yeah, and Us. Two big deals when they came out. So naturally, people know who she is. Jessica Chastain, she's been in quite a few notable movies, particularly the ones that are on top of my head are like Zero Dark 30, Interstellar. Those like the main two. It Chapter 2 was another one. Let's see. Let's look at who else. Yeah, Penelope Cruz. She's been in quite a few movies, quite a lot of movies. She was in Pirates 4, uh, Murder on the Orient Express. She's been in a lot. I'm trying to just scroll through this. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. It's kind of overwhelming. But she is a recognizable face here. Diane Kruger, what has she been in? Oh, she was in the National Treasure movies, Inglourious Bastards, Troy, Unknown. I don't know if she played a major role in those movies. I don't think she did. But I mean, it's good to have those on your resume, I guess. And Fawn, I'm gonna say it like that. I think I'm saying it right. Oh, she was in X-Men Days of Future Past. Okay. That's about it with her. But yeah, they're all recognizable to one degree or another. So I would consider that a pro, but there's also like a con to it as well. But I'll talk about that later. So pro number one, cast is recognizable. Pro number two, this movie has no well, for this weekend, no movies are opening against it, so it technically has the whole weekend to itself, which is good, I guess. So that's pro number two. But pro number three is this movie has no real direct competition when it comes to like hard action movies, like no like superhero element to it. Like the main two movies that could be considered competition, like Matrix 4 and The King's Man, both movies bombed hard when they came out on Christmas, so they're non-factors at this point. So, yeah, and there's nothing in the near future that will directly combat this. So, yeah, it's kind of in a league of its own when you think about it. So, yeah, I would consider that a pro. That's it though. I can't think of anything else. So, cons. Just because I said these five ladies here are recognizable, that doesn't mean they're draws though. That doesn't mean people will pay money to see them on the screen, particularly for Jessica Chastain. I mean, recently she was, let's see, she was in Eyes of Tammy Faye, which nobody saw. Dark Phoenix, Do I even need to explain that one? Um, yeah, a lot of her movies here just never did all that well. You know, Crimson Peak, Huntsman, Winter's War, movies that everyone's forgotten at this point, and I don't blame people for forgetting those movies. Um, yeah, Dark Phoenix is particularly important here, and I'll explain that in a bit. But yeah, that's just Jessica Chastain. Everybody else, Lupita Nyong'o. It's Black Panther. That was obviously fueled by the character and Chadwick Boseman being the character, plus being a Marvel movie. And Us was fueled by Jordan Peele, with who was white hot off of his success of Get Out. So I don't know how much Lupita Nyong'o had to do with those successes. I don't think she had an overwhelming amount to do with that. So yeah, and everyone else, the same thing applies. Like they're not they're not draws. Like they're only how do I describe this? Sometimes an actor only does well if they're a part of a certain movie series or like a franchise. If they're not, then it can be spotty at best. The track record can be very spotty. And that's the case for everyone here, technically. So yeah, the fact that none of these ladies are really like big draws by themselves, sure, putting them all together makes for a more appealing package. And I've said that that could be labeled a pro, because I've labeled it as a pro. But yeah, still, the fact that none of them are like significant draws, I would consider that a con. So that's con number one. Con number two: the man who's making this movie, Mr. Simon Kinberg. Now this guy is known for, he's known for pretty much producing the majority of X-Men movies, or writing a good amount of them, I think. Yeah. He wrote X3, he wrote Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, and the big dud of them all, Dark Phoenix. Not only did he direct Dark Phoenix, no, not only did he write Dark Phoenix, he directed it too, which makes it even worse. And Dark Phoenix was a truly terrible movie that everyone hated, that everyone avoided at all costs. And the box office shows that, like, it only made like 246 million worldwide on like a budget of 200 million. It was an absolute disaster. Nothing positive came from it, and it's best we all forgot it ever existed. So the fact that he's able to direct another movie after that shocks me. It shocks me to my core. Like, if it was up to me, I don't think I want him to direct another movie again. But some asinine person over there in Hollywood, that would be a good idea for him to direct another movie. Like, or I think it may have been Jessica Chastain. Like, she wanted him to make the movie, so it's her fault that this is happening. And just looking at his producer credits, like, he's produced some good stuff and some not so good stuff from in here. His writing credits, he was part of the writing process of like Fanforstic. That's another automatic red flag in my book. Yeah, just a lot of like the really bad X-Men movies, the ones that people really hate. So yeah, this dude is poison in my opinion. So that's con number two. Easy con right there. Con number three, its release date. Now, usually like the first weekend of the new year, when a movie comes out on that particular weekend, that doesn't necessarily mean the studio has a lot of faith in the product. It doesn't mean like they see a lot of positives with it. And what's weird is that this spot is usually reserved for like low budget horror movies. Like, we've had plenty of those throughout like the last decade. So the fact that a movie like this is opening that certain that first weekend of New Year is interesting. But that kind of just tells me that Universal want nothing to do with this movie and they just want to just get rid of it at this point. And because hilariously, this movie was delayed by a year. It was supposed to come out January of 2021. Then they pushed it to January 2022. And to quote yourmoviesucks.org, it's always a great sign when a movie moves from January to January. That's fantastic. That just shows they have all the confidence in the product. And yeah. And plus January as a whole has a pretty bad reputation. Deservedly so. A lot of crap comes out in January. I mean, sure we have the good movie every once in a while, but for the most part it's filled with trash. And this is no exception from what I've heard. So, yeah, the release date, big con against it. So that's con number 3. Con number 4, the reviews for this movie are not good. Shocking, I know. Last I checked very, very recently. It's at like a 23% on Rotten Tomatoes, which, like, there's no saving this movie after that. So, yeah, like, who on earth is gonna look at that score and be like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to watch that"? Like, no one's gonna say that. And yeah, yeah, that review score, it's the type of score that will kill a movie before it even comes out. And I feel like that's gonna happen here. So, bad reviews, con number 4. Con number 5 is the fact that at this point in time, any movie not called No Way Home or Sing 2 has tanked hard. Every movie. Like, that's no joke. Even from like early-ish December last month. I mean, there's a graveyard of movies. There's West Side Story, there's Nightmare Alley, there's Matrix 4, there's The King's Man, there's American Underdog, there's Journal for Jordan, there's Licorice Pizza, and I feel like this is gonna join. It's gonna fit right in. It's gonna join them in the graveyard, and it's more deservedly so in this case. So yeah, if your movie's not called Spider-Man, you're pretty much doomed at this point. So that's a con right there. And I guess I can mention how, the Omicron virus variant has been just really hitting hard. Like, record case numbers everywhere. It's not looking good. It's like the numbers surrounding that aren't the type of numbers that make people confident in going to the movie theater, unless the movie's called Spider-Man. In that case, they'll watch it like as many times as they want. But again, if it's not called Spider-Man, you're kind of screwed. Because no one really cares about any movie not called Spider-Man. I mean, they kind of care about Sing 2, but after that, no one cares. So, yeah, like, that whole thing might be a con against it too. And I think it's quite telling that with the marketing for this movie, like they say, oh, from the studio behind Jason Bourne. Because, oh, remember the Bourne series from like, that was relevant like well over a decade ago? Remember those? Like, I guess because saying, oh, from the guy who made Dark Phoenix, that's not going to put butts in seats, obviously. But yeah, that just feels like that type of marketing, that type of slogan, it doesn't spell confidence in my eyes. And another thing, I guess, like, I forgot about the ad campaign. It's there, but it's extremely low key. It's not like, ruthless like some other movies that have come out in the past. But I think Licorice Pizza was more ruthless with its ads than this. So that's not great. But yeah, I think that's it. So, okay, opening weekend. I do not know. I'm gonna be generous. I think I'm gonna say 5 million. I think that's possible. I mean, the theater count is all right. It's like a little over 3,000. So I think it can at least make 5 million. Like, is that so hard? I think it can make open to 5 million. And then I'll probably end it around between 10 and 5, 10 and 15. I think that can happen. So, yeah. And that's it. There's nothing more to say here. And that's it for the weekend. Yep, this is the only movie coming out this weekend. So, yeah, which it's kind of a blessing after, Christmas, dealing with all those movies at once. And the next weekend, it kind of looks like the same thing, where I'm going to be talking about Scream. I don't know about Belle. I've heard mixed things about it being wide or not. I'm not sure if it's going to be wide. If it is, I'll talk about it. If it's not, I won't talk about it. We'll see. But Scream is definitely, I'm definitely going to talk about that. And then the week after that, there's apparently Redeeming Love. I don't know about The King's Daughter, though. Supposed to talk about Morbius. That's not happening anymore. So, I don't know about the end of the month. And then, yeah, that's it. So, yeah, that's the near future movies I'm going to be talking about. It's going to be really slow. It's going to be some real slim pickings for the next few months, which is just great. But at least it's a bit more interesting, a tad more interesting than last year. I'll tell you that. Yeah. Anywho, yeah, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn notifications, share the whole drill. Want to check out more videos like this? I got playlists on the homepage. Well, actually, this is the first I'm doing for 2022, so this is the only thing you're going to be seeing from that playlist on the homepage at the moment. It will fill up over time, okay? But for right now, it's only this movie. But if you want to watch any of the past prediction videos I made, particularly from last year, all the madness that went on last year, you can definitely watch all those in a single playlist. And you just go to the playlist tab and find it and watch them all. You'll have a good time. So, yeah, you can go right ahead and watch those. There's also the canceled series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. I believe I covered the 355 once on the channel before. That's about it. I covered it once. I forgot what episode number it was, but I think hold on. Let me look it up very quickly. 61. Okay. Episode 61. That's where I talked about this. So you can go watch that video. And all the others, there's now 100 episodes canceled. So go wild, go nuts, watch them all. That way you can just see how things have evolved since this pandemic shit show has started. Because it's nearly been 2 years, which is quite the scary thought. So, yeah, if you want to watch any of those, you can go right ahead. There's also box office recaps, or I go over the box office results for any particular month. I just did the December recap. That's up. So if you want to watch that, go right ahead. I will be doing 2021 recap, two-parter, both theatrical and streaming side of things. Those will come out very soon. For January recap, that will come out around the first weekend of February, first week of February. So, yeah, so stay tuned for that. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I've done, including the one I just did recently in December, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.